Let's talk about Invincible.
All right, yes. Moving on. Let's talk about Invincible Season 3, Episodes 1, 2, and 3. So this snuck up on me. I'm pretty sure it snuck up on you too.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I was expecting another, 4-year wait or whatever it felt like.
Yep.
But it came out pretty quick.
And I saw no advertisements or nothing for it.
Yeah, me neither, which is crazy.
The only reason I knew it started was because one of my YouTubers I follow put up a review. I'm like, wait, what? Is this out? Or is this like an early review?
Yeah.
And no, it was out.
So we're going to be talking about episodes 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to be talking about 4, 5, 6 next week.
Yes, it's good. Split it, yeah.
So I'll go ahead and get started and give my scores for 1, 2, and 3, and then I'll let you after. And then once we give our scores and our overall thoughts, we'll give a spoiler warning before going into the spoilers. So, episode 1, I thought was pretty decent. It got me back into the swing of things for Invincible. It was nothing too crazy, but solid episode, set some things up. I thought the pacing of this was noticeably better than a lot of season 2, I feel like. Because even though it wasn't like the most interesting thing to me, it still went by quick. So I gave that one a 7. I thought it was a pretty good start.
Okay.
Episode 2, I think, was even better. We got some interesting backstory on some characters. The conflict in the episode was really interesting. It had 2 opposing viewpoints being put up against each other, and I really liked seeing that, kind of in conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And the animation, I thought, was really good quality in this one. So far, episode 2, out of all 3 that we've seen, has been my favorite. I gave that one a 9.
Okay.
And then episode 3, I thought was also a good episode. Not as good as the previous one, but there's some new dynamics in the show that was interesting, and I'm curious to see where they go with it. I thought it was a solid episode. I gave it an 8. I personally think this season has started off way more solid than season 2 did from what I remember.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see if it keeps up from there and what it looks like going forward.
Okay. Yeah, I pretty much agree with you. I liked episode 1 more than you. I would get episode 1 an 8. I thought the pacing was way better. The focus was way better. The action good. I liked the story a lot more. I thought it was a very solid first episode. Episode 2 was awesome. I gave a 9 out of 10 as well. I mean, near perfect episode. I mean, God, I didn't think we'd be getting this much intensity.
Yeah.
This
right
soon.
Away.
Yeah. I loved it. And again, the pacing and the focus of the season, so much better in season 2. So I give that a 9 too as well. And then episode 3, an 8 as well. I didn't think it was as good as episode 2, but I thought it was better in episode 1. Same score, but I put this one higher. I really like the story. It's dark. And I know I said it before, but it's focused.
Yeah.
I thought the opening for this episode was amazing. Like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It was such a cool opening, which I'll get to it in spoilers, why I liked it so much. Spoilers. But yeah, I think this season so far, the first 3 episodes, miles better than season 2. And for me, it's the focus, man. We're not bouncing 8 billion different storylines. We're getting focused storylines and deeper storylines.
I agree.
But yeah, I want to talk about spoilers. Go watch this season because so far it's friggin' awesome. I hope the next 2 or 3, whatever's out, continues.
Yes, definitely agree. Yeah, so let's get into spoilers. Spoiler alert for Invincible Season 3, Episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, so first thing I want to say before we get into episode 1. So the episode 3 opening, the reason I loved it so much is in episode 2, what's his face? I have it written down. Cecil. Oh, I didn't know he was voiced by him. That's interesting.
I know.
So I just
yeah.
Huh.
What's his name? I forget now.
It is Walton
Goggins. Yes. Walton Goggins. Yeah, I know. Every time I've found that out 3 times, and now every time I'm like, oh yeah.
You're like, wait a second. Yeah, that was. Wow, I didn't recognize some of these voices. Overall, Rudy. Okay, anyway, sorry. So in episode 2, Cecil told Invincible bad guys deserve to be reformed, right? To turn good, and good guys.
Yep.
Turn bad. He pretty much said that just because you're good, you're always gonna have to do bad things, or bad guys are always can have a chance to be good.
Right.
And then the opening of episode 3, it showed the bad guys, right? Mm-hmm. Them robbing a bank, and then them feeling bad and stopping and trying to work it out with jobs, and you see their life, they're struggling, and the music behind it, and then they're homeless, and then they decide, okay, we're at a last resort, we gotta rob the place, and they see a kid again get kind of sad, and then you see Invincible with his brother going and kind of tear them apart, and you kind of feel bad, right? Because you saw their backstory, even though they're quote unquote bad guys to Invincible. I loved how that opening 5 minutes, how it pretty much it confirmed what Cecil said. Like they backed it up with that first 5 minutes, and I loved that.
I agree. I really like those also. At first I was like, man, this is really artsy. It's kind of weird, but then I just got really into it, and I felt really invested in their lives, even though you never hear them speak. It's just music. You just see what they're going through, and then it's just so quick that Mark just shows up and it's just they are getting destroyed. It was really interesting.
Yeah, just freaking beautiful sad music, and the music kind of turned sinister when you see Mark get there. I'm like,
it almost felt like Mark was the bad guy with that music change. Yeah, it was really
so it kind of backed up for episode 2. Mark is kind of skirting the gray line here.
It made me kind of feel weird that I was kind of siding more with Cecil in that back and forth between Mark and Cecil.
Yeah, same.
I don't think Cecil's a good guy, but I do agree that people should be able to make up for their mistakes. I don't know. It got me feeling kind of weird.
He even said to Donald, be like, we can't be the good guys and save the world at the same time.
Yeah, true.
That totally sounds like what Cecil would say.
Yeah. And then it's interesting how it goes into we'll talk about it more, but how they shouldn't kill people, with Oliver not caring as much about killing people. So in Mark's worldview, it's just they don't kill people, they lock them up, and then they're never allowed to change. I don't know, there's something wrong with the way Mark's seeing it, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. Oh, I agree. And kind of like what Cecil said, he's like, everyone makes mistakes, but you can't make a mistake. We have to listen to you, It's okay for you to make mistakes. You killed what's-his-face. It's black and white for you.
Yeah.
There's no gray. And I agree. I do agree. I think Mark is fooling himself.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what it will take to get him to rethink his philosophy there.
Yeah. Maybe his brother, in the third episode, maybe he's realizing crap, he sounds like my dad. I need to slow down.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's true. Maybe.
But yeah, episode 1, I think the reason I liked episode 1 is, it was an opening episode for the season. It had the humor, it had the characters, it had the action, it had the focus story. I loved the scene with, Rex. I love Rex.
Yeah, Rex is good.
And that's where we find out that what's her duplicate or whatever still alive. And then Immortal joined the team, and it's kind of the team back together, and you see Mark training, and I kind of liked how they showed him getting stronger and faster. And
that was cool.
Yeah, because, they said that, what is it, Viltrumite? What are they called? Viltrumite, sorry. That lady said that someone worse is going to come, so he kind of wanted to train up for that. And like you said, I don't think it was... it wasn't the most intense episode or anything, but it was a great start, I thought.
It was. I think the thing that brought it a little bit lower for me was the bad guys were, I felt thrown in might be the wrong word, but I still don't know who those first 2 guys were that were stealing the Declaration of Independence.
The future people?
Yeah. Don't know who those guys are. Multipol just came out of nowhere, and I was confused. Wait, who is this? This looks like Duplicate, but a different gender. What is going on? And then we had Doc Seismic again, who is a funny character, but how did he? You just can't think about it too hard. I think he kind of.
Oh, I agree.
But it didn't ruin the episode or anything for me. I still think it was a great start to the season, and I enjoyed the episode a lot.
Yeah. I guess my thought process was that was all of season 2.
Yeah.
And I think while this I get what you're saying with that, I still think it fit more with the story.
Sure.
And it was a little more focused. I feel like those 2 guys in the future that stole the Declaration of Independence,
they'll show up again.
Yeah, they'll show up again. The Invincible likes to plant these random seeds and forget about it for 5 or so episodes. As far as how big of a picture that paints, I don't know. Is it going to be a one-off episode? Or is that building to something bigger?
Yeah, that's a good question.
But yeah, so episode 1, I really enjoyed it. But episode 2, man, that's where I was like, okay, this season's already better.
Yes, episode 2 was awesome. I really liked the Cecil backstory, and what happened to him was brutal. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Jeez, that freaking acid
Skin
gas
melting
thing.
off. Yeah. Oh man.
And it kind of helped paint a picture for Cecil too. He is a good guy, or was at least. But yeah, we just learned more of his backstory, how he became director, and you even see Donald.
Like, I thought it did a good job of establishing like a reason why he believes in people being able to get a second chance.
Exactly.
Like, him taking over the prison was pretty funny. Like, in 3 years, he's just running everything.
And then I like how, I guess we forgot to mention too in episode 1, he brings back, what's his face, the Batman character.
Yes, Darkwing.
Darkwing, yes, and some robot alien things, yes, to help save everybody, and that's what makes Mark so pissed off.
Yep.
And in episode 2, you know, they walk into that white room, and what is this room? He's like, it's for my protection from you. And then it just kind of goes off from there.
Yeah, craziness, yep.
I don't know, I'm kind of on Cecil's side too. I mean, he said just the stuff he's saying, right? Like, you're scaring me, like I have to back up. I get it. Mark has to always be right. Like, it's his way or the highway.
It's weird because I feel like Mark's heart is in more of the right place than Cecil's, but Cecil makes more sense. I don't know. It's more consistent philosophically.
Yeah, I agree. And I actually I wouldn't even consider Cecil bad in a sense. I think he's just
jaded.
I feel like there's people that have to I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's some people that have to do stuff that other people wouldn't do, and he's that person.
Yeah.
And I don't think it makes him bad. I think he just puts that weight on his shoulders. I mean, maybe it's clouded his judgment. You know, I think it has kind of made him disconnected, I think, from people more.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think he's doing it for the greater good. Like, I believe he is.
Yeah.
But again, it's like the opposite. It's the same thing with the opposite of Mark. I think you could be too far one way, either side, you know?
Yep. Like, if he used Oliver to, like, save the world, but it hurt Oliver, like, that's a little more morally gray. And it's like, it's a very gray area for sure.
Yeah, and he would do that.
Yeah, he definitely would.
But it's like to save the world, so it's like, like I wouldn't do that, but at least you save the world. But I don't know, like, but yeah, it's like still, it's like, you know, if that was your brother or something, you wouldn't do that. But I don't know, it's interesting still.
Yeah, Cecil's such an interesting character. He has been basically for the whole show. I've always enjoyed his character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I really liked. They like planted that, or not planted, but learned the frequency that hurts his brain or body, whatever. And I thought that was interesting. And I get why that would. The thing is, this is why I'm confused too. I get Mark. Like, I get why he'd be pissed off. Like, why are you letting Darkwing be here? Why are you using those? They're all murders. They're all this. Now you planted this thing in my head, or you're using that frequency against me. How am I going to trust you? Like, I get all that. But I just don't think he's going about it the right way. Like, he's too headstrong on it. But then, he goes to the Guardians, or what are they?
Yeah, Guardians.
Oh, I was going to say Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing. Invincible Guardians of the Globe.
Guardians of the Globe, there you go. He goes there, and they kind of have that conversation and fight there, which it was all just interesting and intense. I really enjoyed it.
So they split up. The Guardians of the Globe split up, where half of them went off to create their own team. I'm curious what ramifications that'll have going forward. I really liked, who's the Martian guy?
His name is Shapesmith, I think.
Shapesmith, yes. Who's voiced by Sonic. That's all I can hear when he talks now.
Sonic, and what's his name from Parks and Rec?
Yeah. Jean-Ralphio.
Oh, yeah. Yes, Jean-Ralphio, freaking hilarious. But anyways.
But yeah, he's like, I have a race car bed here, so I think I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
That was funny. I love Shapesmith. He's hilarious.
He's funny. But yeah, and then Rex, like, of course, I don't know, Rex has turned into one of my. I mean, he's always been funny. Yeah, he's always been funny, and obviously in season 1 he's kind of a jerk, but he's definitely turned into a fan. Like, at least for me, he feels like a fan favorite.
Yeah, I love Rex.
And so who went on there? It was Rex,
a robot, the Monster Girl.
Yeah, Monster Girl, robot,
Shrinking Ray.
Who's the girl? It was the girl.
Eve, kind of, but not really.
I guess. Or are they even teaming up with Mark, or they just don't want to be with?
Yeah, I don't know.
The Guardians of the Globe.
I don't know if we know yet. So here, the Guardians break up. So it's Monster Girl, Rex, Ray, Bulletproof, and Rudy who went off.
Rudy, that's what I'm thinking of.
And then Immortal, Kate, Samson, and Shapesmith remain with Darkwing 2 and the Reanimen on backup, I guess.
Yeah. What else happened in episode 2? So there was that whole, I mean, a lot of it was that, and then he flies out of there and goes to Eve, right?
Yeah.
That's right. He goes to Eve and kind of says, I want to be with you, yada, yada, yada. Was that this episode? Yeah.
I think, yeah.
I mixed my episodes.
It started.
Yeah.
Or yeah, they got together in episode 2, I think. So what do you think of the romance between Eve and Mark?
I like it. I mean, I feel like this is what it should have been instead of what's her face.
Yes, it's so much better than Amber, in my opinion.
I like it because it feels more real. Like in theory they should be together, but also like episode 1 and 2 is more of like, we should, just because we understand each other doesn't mean we should be together. Like they were kind of bouncing back and forth. Like it actually felt like legit drama, like that should happen in a relationship. And then in episode 3, they're closer, and I mean, man, I've shipped them from day one, man.
I like how they're doing it because, like, you can see Mark go into defensive mode, how he's been used to, like, oh, I'm so sorry, I should have been there, I shouldn't. And Eve's just like, stop. Yeah. We both know how this goes. It's fine.
Yep.
Let's just move past. Like, yeah, it's like refreshing how easy that is. Like, oh,
yes,
good.
God. Even in episode 3, towards the end, when he's like, I don't know what my brother, he sounded like my dad. And she's like, I'm not trying to defend what he did, but he's just a kid.
Yeah.
And finally, like a legit voice of reason with someone who could understand.
Yes.
And whatever even showed up in that episode, in episode 3 too. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, true. She did. Yep.
When her and Eve talked, and apparently Amber liked some dude. Something we didn't talk about a lot was his brother Oliver.
Oliver, yes.
And so how do you feel about that whole storyline? Because it's kind of a main storyline this season, main focus.
Yeah, so I wonder where they're going with it, because Oliver not seeming to care about killing people could be dangerous, I feel like, with how strong and how quickly he became like just as fast as Mark. Like at the end he's running away and he's like really fast. I feel like he might get stronger or as strong as Mark pretty quickly. Yeah. And then if he is more like Omni-Man, you never know. I think it's setting up some really cool stuff. I also like though how Mark doesn't really know what to say, and it makes sense. He's like a 21-year-old, whatever. He doesn't know. But then like they go home and Debbie talks to Oliver and she just like gets through to him right away. Like, what if they hurt me? And she's like, well, yeah, I wouldn't like that. And it's like everyone has moms and brothers, and that makes sense. I mean, she's raised a kid already. Like I thought that was all done really maturely. Like I don't know. It made sense, and I thought that was handled really well. I like that scene because Mark didn't say a word. He was just there. He let his mom do it. He understood that she raised me. I liked that scene too. Yeah, that was good. I agree. I think it's a very interesting storyline. I don't know exactly where they're taking it. I feel like it's going to go in the direction where, he's obviously going to grow up pretty fast. Yeah. And he's going to probably turn pretty evil. And then maybe at some point, like Omni-Man comes back and they have to team up to defeat him or something. Which would be a pretty wild and emotional fight. Or they team up with Omni-Man to defeat a different Viltrumite or something. Or it could go two ways. Like it's either, it might not be where Oliver turns evil. I mean, they're playing around with it now, but maybe that's too obvious, right? Maybe they're just making us think he's going to turn evil like Omni-Man, but he's not, He has Mark. I think that's the difference between is he has Mark. You're right. I mean, it could be, that would be awesome. Like a little family team up. I mean, Omni-Man's with Alan right now, right? We didn't talk really much about that, but I love those two together. It's such an interesting dynamic. I do too. He's like, oh, you cared, I lived. He's like, oh, you made it. Oh, so good. I like how they're slowly building that up and not rushing that. Yeah. Because, I mean, I love Omni-Man. Like, I really do. Like, that's why season 1's like the best season, But with like a build up, like a redemption and stuff, you have to build that up, man. It can't happen in like a season. For sure. Especially like for his pure evil, how he was. Yeah. No kidding. So I'm glad they're slowing that. And the Viltrumite, I mean, God, I can't. When are we going to see that Viltrumite invasion, man? I can't wait for that. Is that going to be this season? I don't know. I Probably doubt not. It. Although episode 2 felt like a freaking finale. So who knows? That's true. Like a season finale. But I'm wondering when that's going to play out. And also, the Brainiac not future, but the Dimension dude showed up in the final scene. Yeah, what's his name? Angstrom Levy. Thank you. Yes. Now, where's that going to? So I knew it felt really weird that would have been the last time I seen him in the finale of season 2. Yeah, I agree. And with him in like every dimension, it's pretty he's gonna come back probably. Now I'm just curious where they're gonna go with this though.
that's such a big storyline, right? Like you have dimensions, but then you also have a main story with like the Viltrumites, invading Earth and with Omni-Man. Like, so where do they fit that in?
I kind of wonder if that's going to be something with Oliver. Like, I mean, Mark killed him, right? And I wonder if Oliver's going to have that same thing where he is going to have a choice of like whether he loses it and kills him, because obviously I think Angstrom wants to like hurt Invincible's family, so he's probably going to go after Debbie and Oliver.
Yep.
And so Oliver may have that same choice, and who knows, maybe he'll do the same thing. I mean, Mark did it, so like he's not gonna have a foot to stand on, or is he gonna be able to stop and be better than Mark was? I don't know. That's just my theory of where it could
see
go.
That. Like maybe he makes a choice that Mark didn't make, and it almost redeems Mark in a sense too. Like, okay, I trained him right, like he's doing the right decisions. It could, on the flip side though, like it could be, I mean, when you're talking dimensions, doesn't that feel like a bigger storyline than just an invasion from the Viltrumite?
It could be.
Not, like, I'm not saying I'm more interested in that. I'm just saying, like, when you're playing with dimensions.
Yeah.
With all that being said, these first 3 episodes have been a return to form. Season 2, I'm not saying season 2 was horrible, but
it had some issues.
Yeah, the pacing was awful. It jumped from storyline. Like sometimes there was 4 or 5 storylines in an episode, or we don't see some in one episode. That has not happened in this season so far. Yeah, way more focused, way more character driven, it feels like.
I've really been enjoying it.
I'm excited to watch the next few. And how many episodes will be in this season?
That is a good question.
I think maybe 8.
8. It shows 8 on there.
The season 2 was 8 episodes too. Actually, all 3 seasons have been 8 episodes. Are they going to split it this season?
I don't know.
They better freaking not, I swear. I think I read somewhere that the director said no split this season.
It has the dates on here, so... nope. Doesn't look like a split.
Okay.
Yep, everyone's a week after.
I think I remember reading that the creator said they're not going to do split the season because everyone was pissed off.
Yeah, it was annoying. We waited so long and then had 4 episodes and then had to wait more.
Yeah, another like 4 months or something for another 4 episodes. Yeah, but yeah, that's all I had. It's been good.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it.
I've been enjoying both our Mark shows.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing alongside that. Why do they have Multi-Paul show up and Debbie get with Paul in the same episode? It's like there's too many Pauls, there's too many Marks. What is going on?
I don't trust that dude. My first thought was the same as Mark's. Why would you tell him about that identity? I get you need someone to talk to you, but come on, Debbie.
Hopefully he's trustworthy.
You trust these people?
Yeah.
I mean, just knowing her past, like, could you really trust? I mean, I get it. That's why she's trying to be open because of her past. But that was, which she apologized and said, I should have talked to you first. That is definitely something you should talk to Mark first.
Definitely.
You don't just spit someone's identity out, let alone your child's identity out.
Yeah, secret identity. Yep.
But anyway, she apologized for that. So
yeah, that was good. I'm glad she did that.
I am too. Yeah.
All right.